You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio once again. We are here today, and we have another show lined up for y'all. Today, we have a true honor talking to an amazing guest, a special artist. Today, he's going to share with us his journey and his story. We have the one and only DPB, and he's going to share with us all about what he does, man. He's a positive rap artist. He's a songwriter, actor, a clothing designer, a mentor, a motivational speaker. And man, he is all about his business. So first and foremost, I know you're swamping busy, man. How you doing?
I'm great, wonderful, marvelous. Thank you for having me on your show, bro, for real.
Man, you doing numbers. I was doing my homework. I'm like, okay, this guy is doing big things, man. So I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, talking to our audience, man. First and foremost, what inspired you to get into hip-hop music and having the focus of doing positive rap?
Well, growing up in New York, that's where hip-hop was. So that's what's all around you. But then I noticed that back in the days, I used to open up for Salt and Pepper, Fumo D, and different things like that back in the day where I lived at. I noticed that people would hang on to every word that I said, even though I didn't do those words. So I figured the platform, people follow what people do based off the platform. So if I did something positive, then people's lives can actually be motivated to do things positive. So that's what made me a positive rapper.
And you're also a business owner. So when it comes to the business of music, at what point in your career were you like, you know what, I'm going to make this actual business?
Actually, the day I knew, it was like, well, actually, God called me. And I felt like that day I didn't want to rap. And I felt like if you heard the story of how it all happened, you would understand why I felt like this was going to be my job forever until I believe it's just something else to do. But I've been doing this for over 30 plus years. And it's been one of them things I just knew from day one. This is what I'm called to do in life. And it's crazy how I'm more relevant now than when I first started.
On your YouTube channel, you have tons of videos that people can check out. You have a lot of music that's out on Spotify and where people can stream. When it comes to the creative process, what's it like for you when you're starting from scratch to the final product?
Well, for me, it's about what I'm going through in life. So for me, just like about having the song Undefeated, another song, I Feel So Good Today, is I haven't had a bad day in 17 years. So what can you talk about if you don't go through something? So my whole thing is, well, I feel so good today. I mean, I'm not going to let nothing tear me down. So the process is actually my life and hearing other people's stories. And so I would take those stories because they're real stories that really mean something, and I will write based off of that. Or I'm trying to write a solution based off of the problem that I see a lot of people going through. So my thing is, okay, how can I flip the script to where everything ain't always negative? Why can I throw something in there to where people can actually do and not be an impossible thing to do? So I get my inspiration from other people's stories and trying to give a solution to those stories that I believe are the right way to go about it.
If you want to check out all his stuff he's doing, go to World of DPB. We're talking to an artist today, DPB. And first and foremost, man, let's talk about the ministry you're doing, man. Because when it comes to outreach, that I can see based on your bio, that is something that's very important to you. You've been involved in many things. Kind of tell us a little bit about that mindset for you, giving back to the community, but also just using that platform to inspire the young minds.
It's amazing because I just came back from Minneapolis, and we also did Chicago and Southside Chicago. And there's a lot of churches and people there that they marvel at, man, you come all the way up here to do this. And we do actually drive-by concerts We go right where the people are, if they're gangster or whatever, and we just hop out the car, we do concerts, and you see people giving their lives over to God. And sometimes I think what it is, you could say you love people, but love always has an action. And if people don't have an action to the love that they have, then it's really not love. So the whole thing is, when I love people, man, I really want to see lives change and for the better. So I believe people can only be what they see. So I want to show them, like, yo, you can do this the right way and not to have to be crooked about it. You can do this the right way and not have to sell drugs or, get high or whatever. I just want to be the example to where it's possible to be done. That's why I created the world of DPB. You know what I'm saying? I'll come from the behind instead of in front. Like, I don't have to have a big label behind me to go forth and do what I got to do. It's just being persistent and loving people, and love goes a long way with folks. And so that's what it makes a difference. I want to change every city by city. That would be my heart goal, is to change city by city, because people only can be what they see. So, yeah.
You also created a program for schools addressing character education issues. If you can, for the audience, explain what that process was like and what was your core mission for that project.
Well, we used to travel. I used to be in a group called DOC, Disciples of Christ, which is Grammy Dove nominated. And we were going to schools, and I'm like, man, they were bringing these specialty speakers who would speak to kids. I said, man, we could do that through music. And then once we started doing that through music, I started to learn the school type of thing, to where it's just like, you know what? I really can help some kids out. Like, I've been pressing on like mental illness and mental health issues, and probably differently than everybody else do it. But I feel like I got the solving problem. I believe the Bible do, but it's one of them things. It's just like, if you don't touch a kid when they're young, they won't have nothing to hold on to. So a lot of times there's a lot of not good parenting inside the house. So a lot of people they go to school to try to learn, and the teacher's actually the parent all of a sudden. So I'm like, you know what? How can I help? How can I help guide and lead kids? It's like, education is amazing. You need your education, but then all of a sudden you see social media. Social media make it feel like you don't need education because you can get rich with social media. So, but I still try anyway and do my best about bullying and anti-bullying and all those type of things like that. The peer pressures of what, man, be you, who you got to be. Stop trying to be like everybody else, and to be exactly who God called you to be. And so, and I know a lot of times in school, you're not allowed to talk about God. So I use like the word dream stiller. Watch out for the dream stiller. You know what I'm saying? Because there's always people, your friends can try to steal your dreams. You got to watch out so you can stay focused on your dreams. So that's how I go about it, man. Just wanting to change people's lives, man, for the better.
You listen to Refocus Radio, talking to our guest today, DPB. You go to his website, worldofdpp.com. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about culture, man, because we live in a world where society, you just find your buffet line. There's something for everybody. But in the spirit of hip hop, you as an artist, you as a leader in the music industry, what's some of the things that you see right now that's happening that's positive, and then some other things that maybe we can work on as a community?
I think you got somebody like a D1 who is up there going around and showing you, once you make it successful, man, you don't have to say the same things that you used to say. I think that's very important, that in hip hop, it's time to be positive. We don't like what's going on in the ghetto, but we don't want to speak on it in our raps about how to change that in the ghetto or in the Black community. So that's not there. So you have somebody like a D1, and I'm proud of what he's doing. I just think it's amazing that he has the guts to do that and to call people out. I would never call nobody out because you got to love people. But what to me, if I was to ever say something, it would be more so change what you're saying once you make it. You're out of there. Why keep on talking about the same thing? So I think that's the positive thing. And then the negative thing would be the negative of it. How many more, girls we got to call B's? And how, like ladies now accept it. I'm a B. It's almost like we done did it so much to where people become something and they don't know how to get out of it. Now you're starting to see so much. Everybody feel like they got to get shot, or they feel like for everybody him, I got to be more crazier to get respect. So it's almost like, I think that's a negative of it, because you can get famous so quick. Everybody got these things. They want to be famous so quick. They're willing to do anything to be famous. And I think that's the negative part of it.
And while we have you here, man, let's go all the way in, man. I want to ask you this question. When you look at this hip hop culture and you see like one artist is having beef with another artist, I mean, you're in the industry. You know how things work as an artist. You've been in it for years. What is the mindset of that? And why you think that's something that people really, I guess you can say, gravitate towards? They kind of hype up their one that they pick in the corner.
Well, first of all, I don't think there's nothing wrong with battling. Battling is different if you're just trying to show your skill. But I do think it's terrible when the skill goes to physical. I think it's like, that means, hip hop is it's really braggadocious anyway. Usually hip hop is braggadocious. Like, yeah, I'm this, listen to my skills, that's really what hip hop really is, being braggadocious and that type of thing, and what you got, what you do, what others don't have. But when you start battling and you're talking about people's families and you start going there, I think you have now crossed the line to where, it can become physical. Somewhere along the line, you're going to hit some type of offense. And that offense is going to cause some defense to where it's like, I got to get them back. And that's exactly what happens with gangs now. Like, you touch my cousin, I'm coming after your brother. Kill your brother, I'm going to come after your mother. And then it keeps on going. The cycle never ends. So it's almost like, I think that's the deeper part of hip hop, to where the battling and going against and the rivalry. I don't think there's nothing wrong, because there was always a battle of the skill anyway. People like folks that can rap. You have several different sides of hip hop. You have the sides where lyrically they are amazing. And then you have the side that they can make a great song, which is not as lyrical, but it's a great song. So I think hip hop should embrace both. I don't think one is lesser than the other, but of course, everybody has a category on where they are at in hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I want to ask that because looking at you are a successful, positive rap artist, but you are wearing multiple hats. And the community obviously respects not just your art, but what you have to say. And let's touch on that, because having a massive platform, how have you been able to organize that responsibility to know that, man, whatever I put out there or do, the community is going to somehow soak it up as a sponge?
I go into the world, their world. Like, I don't just act, even though I do Christian hip hop and just positive rap, I go into the world of wherever I'm at. Like, I learned to become a chameleon, to where it's just like, I know how to blend in. Like, so if it's older folks, my whole presentation is going to be, all right, let me go into an older way of doing this. And if I go into younger folks, let me go to the dance thing, or because everybody wants to be a dancer. So I learned to, just doing it so many years, you learn to become what you need to become to all people. Some people, if you see, sometimes I have to go, if you see the different type of churches I have to go into, a lot of people can't go into those churches. Like, I can go into a Presbyterian, I can go into a Pentecostal, I can go into a mega church, like, no matter what it is, a festival. I can go into, no matter where I go, I just know what I need to become. So everybody would be affected by something that I do. I know not everything, and I know I'm not everybody's person that they like rapping. I'm not ignorant to the fact that everybody ain't gonna like my style of rap, but I know I'm good at what I do, and I know I'm unique at what I do. And so that I think that uniqueness causes me to be able to be in front of any type of person. And nobody would get mad. Like, so I know if I go into a prison and I have to rap, I know exactly what raps I need to do to get everybody's respect who's in prison. So it's like, but what I would do in prison, I won't do somewhere else, So it's just those type of things. It's learning to become what you need to become. So people know that, man, you could tell he's been here. He knows what he's doing. So I adapt.
We're talking to music artist DPB. Go to his website, worldofdpb.com. And when you look at the catalog of music that you've been able to put out over the years, and you look at the ability, like you said, going to different kinds of churches and obviously different states in the U.S. and just having that experience to see different cultures, different all walks of life. What's one thing that you appreciate looking back over the years that you've been able to experience?
Well, one thing experience is it's like one of my stories I talk about all the time is going to Southside Chicago, and there's about 4,000 or 5,000 gang members down the street. And you know how you feel like, yeah, my gift is for the street until you get in front of something like that. And then somebody comes and tells you, yo, whoever gets up on that stage ain't coming back down, and you're the first one to be up on that stage. I don't think a lot of people understand how it is to be challenged, for your life to be threatened because it was something they didn't experience. But in those type of situations, fear is the first thing that comes to your mind, but then God comes in and raises something up in you, and next thing you know, all those gang members' lives are being changed because I had to have the guts to go up there and do what I had to do because God called me. So that makes it like those type of situations. I would never want to take back those situations because it grew strength in me, faith in me that God is backing me up with what I'm saying. Because the average person would have never went up on that stage and just would have not went. But it was just, but I got a lot of stories like that, man, to where it's just like, the fear of something that could happen to having faith that, man, God, you got me no matter what I do. So I think being in ministry and all these different platforms and hard situations, I know that God called me because he protected me through a lot of stuff. And
when you experience meeting your fans, your listeners, if you will, of your music, what's some of the feedback you get from the young minds? Well, what are some of the things that they share with you as far as life or just, what's going on in the world?
What I get a lot of times is like, this is what I get. Man, you can minister to anybody. Like that's what, hey, I've seen you minister to the old. I see you minister to the young, and everybody gets with you. I get a lot of that. I also get a lot of, man, my life been changed. People follow me and they like, oh, I'm no bad days. They look at me, I haven't had a bad day yet because they're watching my life. So I believe that's one thing, the greatest message you'll ever preach is the life you live. It's not so much how much Bible you say out of your mouth. It's the life you live. People are watching. And see, I'm writing, there's a book that's about to come out that I wrote. It's called, Living a Life Undefeated. And I had a place in the book where it talks about how people see me when I'm not there. So when you hear the name DPB, what do they say? And there's a section in there, and I call it the living obituary, to where they say, man, the one thing about DPB, he's consistent. He doesn't change with the wind. He's staying who he is all the time. And there's some people that even says, I want to know, I know what it says in the Bible to be Christ-like, but I want to really understand what it is to be Dave-like, because he's a great example of that. And so to hear that from your peers and from I get calls all the time. I mentor a lot of rappers. Like, how do you stay relevant and still stay in the game doing what you do? I said, man, it's relationship driven. It's not how good you are. It's about people know if you care or not. So, people know I care. That is not just words to me. It's like I really care about what I'm telling somebody. And I love people. So that's what I get, man. You love people, man. We can tell this is real to you. So that's why a lot of people follow me.
Earlier, we talked about a little bit about culture and impact in the community of the music and all that. I want to ask an additional question. When it comes to you staying educated on what goes on in the communities that you serve, what's the message that you hope you can maybe share with secular artists who maybe want to collab with a Christian rapper, but maybe there's, we know I'm getting that. It can be like a clash culturally. What do you think about how we can bridge that gap?
Well, I have bridged that gap several times. I did a song with Bootsy Collins. You know what I'm saying? I think what it is just like, you do different things with people, but I believe you got to have a standard. I believe having a standard, like I'm not going to go past my standard. Like nobody ain't going to cuss on my, I don't care if you're talking about God or not, you ain't cussing on my songs. You ain't, like to me, people got to see that there's some type of change for even me to collab. Like, not, because a lot of people say they love God, but their life don't show none of that. So I'm like, I got to be careful what I do because everybody's watching me. And there's a principle I have, don't let your good be evil spoken of. So even though it's something that could be good, I don't want nobody to, that was really shaky. And, I understand we can try to step out, but I already know I know that's going to be shaky to everybody that sees that or hears that. But when you're secular, man, when you try to do something positive and you can and you want to reach your community, people know you love them because you're in the community really showing love, not just a Thanksgiving turkey, not just or a meal. It helps. But people know you love them because you're spending time with folks, and that's one thing I do. Even when I go into a city, I'm like there for a week doing concerts, street by street, park by park, going into the jails, going into the prisons and all that type of stuff of that city. So they know I'm there like, yo, let's go. I shouldn't love your city more than you. I love people. I should not love your city more than you. So come on, what are we going to do? So I go in with people. I don't want nobody to tell me no. So because I shouldn't love somebody else's city more than somebody else, And so I go in like that, man. And I think anybody who lives in that area, even though you could be a celebrity in that area, people will know that you love them by just hanging out and just talking to them, trying to lead them and guide them, and all those type of things, and around to where if you got out, help others get out.
We're talking to our guest today, DPB. You can go to his website, worldofdpb.com. My last question for you before we wrap this up is, when it comes to your personal experience with faith, and how it's impacted your life. Someone listening right now, what would you say to them if they feel like that's something that they want to explore?
Well, I tell them this. I said, faith cometh by hearing and hearing by the word of God. A lot of people are destroyed because of the lack of knowledge. When you don't learn about God and you just have this preconception of him, you'll be disappointed all the time. But when you start to learn the word, and you understand, it's almost like God gave us everything we need to live an incredible life. And he says, I give you everything you need to live basically and a godly life. So the more you learn about God, I believe life gets easier. That's why I don't have no bad days. Now, people will tell you when you start to learn about God, life gets harder. Nah, you're still going to go through some stuff, but you learn how to hold on to God going through the stuff. I'd rather go through the stuff with God on my side and go through stuff with that nobody on my side. Because, you know, friends will turn their back on you. People will turn their back on you, but God won't. And when you have the word of God, you have things that can help you get through stuff that you wasn't able to get through if you didn't have God. So if you want to pursue God, man, learn the word. The word is the word of God. Just stop taking people's word for it. Go to the word for yourself. And everybody should confirm what you already read in the word when you hear somebody talk about the word, instead of just people taking somebody's word for it. But that's how you gain more faith to me in God and loving God, is going to the word of God, the Bible, Holy Bible. Yeah.
We've been talking to artist DPB. Go to his website. It's super easy. worldofdpb.com. Find him on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere you can find music online, and go to his YouTube. He also has his YouTube, World of DPB. Like always, man, I want to say thank you for your time.
Appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate it.